We're back with another episode. Sorry we missed last week. Yeah, I woke up late literally every day last week, so yeah, I pretty much got up and went straight to work all week last week, so we had no time to record.
The grind, baby, the grind.
Um, so yeah, I'm sorry about that, but we're back. I did at least post that vlog though. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Got like almost 300 views, I'm pretty sure.
I still have to watch it.
It was pretty fun. It was a fun Raw.
Yeah.
Two
I guess.
classics. Ilya versus Ricochet and Sheamus versus Gunther on free television, bro. That's insane.
Always nice. Always nice. Always nice.
Alright, so let's get into it. You got the Smackdown notes?
Yeah, I got them right here. Alright, let me just bring this over to the side. So, SmackDown was immediately started with Nick Aldis in the ring. Because the first segment was the Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul segment. So he brings out Cody. They talk about how or Aldis kind of goes on how like he pretty much wants to face the best of the best, wants to be a fighting champion, so he thought would be no better time to introduce your next challenger. And then he goes, right now, Cody turns around and out comes, of all people, Logan Paul. So Logan Paul will be challenging for the world title.
And Cody Rhodes will be challenging for the United States title.
I was going to say, everything that they've kind of pointed to makes it seem like this is going to be a title for title, which...
Why?
I don't...
Why?
I don't.
Cody Rhodes does not need 2 titles. He can barely hold 1.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So you're not going to have Logan Paul beat Cody Rhodes. And so I don't get the point of having Cody Rhodes beat Logan Paul and then also being the United States champion. I don't get that.
It should only be for the world title.
Yeah, but everyone likes the whole title, champion versus champion, title for title style match. So
whack.
Give the people what they want. But
whack.
At the end of the day, this is a terrible idea. And I put out a tweet on our page. I don't think it got any traction, but I gotta say, this whole new era bullshit, I'm not a fan. I think this new era is kind of garbage.
I agree.
It just a lot of, and I listen. I get that there are injuries, and the list of injuries is a mile long, but that is another factor into why I think that this new era is awful. I mean, we're seeing. I know I'm getting away from SmackDown, sorry, but I kind of just I'm rambling now. But the highest injury rate I think we've seen in like a long time. You have most of your champions no one gives a shit about. I mean,
Who's the Intercontinental?
Logan Paul.
Oh, Sami Zayn.
Who cares?
I forgot about that completely.
That's my point.
He beat Gunther, and I immediately forgot.
You're continuing my point. No one gives a shit. I gotta say, the only champions I care about are Bayley, and then Awesome Truth. Other than that, I could give 2 shits.
Yeah, Becky Lynch is boring. Damian Priest is boring. Although he did have a really good promo on Monday.
Yeah, he was good on the mic last night.
But yeah, Damian Priest is boring. A-Town Down Under, I'm glad they won at WrestleMania, but they're boring. Cody Rhodes is boring. Logan Paul is barely there. Sami Zayn is
the longest. Logan Paul is your longest reigning defending champion, and he's defended the title twice.
Yeah.
No one said a word about it. But if this was Roman Reigns, God forbid, who defended it every once in a while, but that's because he had already beaten so many others that were in the world title picture at the time.
Yeah.
But you have so many mid-carders on the shows that this guy could be defending it every couple of weeks, and he's not. So, anyway, back to SmackDown. New Era sucks.
Yeah.
Cody and Logan Paul go back and forth. I'm really not going to get into it. Although it was kind of funny, there was a Prime sucks chant for a couple of minutes there.
Prime does not suck.
It's kind of funny. Every time Prime gets brought up, Logan gets very defensive. I mean, especially with everything that's going on with Prime and all that. But
yeah.
Who cares? Although so Cody once Cody had started to talk, I did like the first line he dropped. He was like, "Oh, I bet a lot of people stand across from you and assume you're a dumbass," and so I thought that was kind of funny, made me chuckle. They went on about Logan's accomplishments and how he went toe to toe against Floyd and how he had a great rookie year and was a champion with only a handful of matches under his belt. But then Cody's like, if I win your title, it makes me a Grand Slam champion, which no one gives a shit. Like, there's a decent portion of the fan base that doesn't care about you, dude. Like, congratulations. But yeah, that happened.
We just want Roman back.
Yeah, so does most of the crowd, but they could have had him. They could have had him.
But they all wanted Cody.
The IWC threw him away. Plain and simple. There's no other way to look at it. And everybody watching, you can get heated at me. I don't give a shit.
That's just a fact.
There's a decent portion of you people that are walking brain rot.
Yep. All you wanted was Cody, and you got it, and now you're turning on him.
Pretty much. And then most of SmackDown, I think, was just a bunch of King and Queen of the Ring filler. We got Nia Jax versus Naomi. Nia Jax had won that. Who cares if she's still awful?
She really is.
Baron Corbin was facing Carmelo Hayes, but he had a backstage interview beforehand saying how the last time he was up on the main roster, he was lost. He didn't know what he was doing. But he found himself down in NXT, and then Carmelo Hayes had walked up saying, "Oh, you should pull out of the tournament like Bobby Lashley did," but Bobby Lashley didn't pull out of the tournament. He was taken out due to him being injured. Again, another injury to the main roster. I don't know what their plan is, but I don't know what's going on.
How many injuries? We have like 10.
It's long. No, it's more than that.
Really?
More than 10.
We got CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley.
Let me look it up. All the superstars injured in 2024. Here we go. So, Shotzi and Cruz del Toro were hurt. Does this not have a full list like it said it did? I love when 800 ads want to pop up while I'm trying to find something.
Shotzi. I completely
Jimmy
forgot about Shotzi.
Dominic's hurt.
Oh yeah, Dominic.
Drew is hurt. Punk is hurt. Shotzi, Cruz, Del Toro. Rhea is hurt. Seth is hurt. Bobby's hurt. See who else is hurt. Okay, well, it said that was a whole list, but I'm not seeing a whole list. Being like the top. Can I get off this page, please?
Well, you get the point. There's a lot of injuries.
Big E is still technically hurt.
He's never coming back.
That's old. Charlotte Flair is still hurt.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Um,
about that.
don't know if there's anybody else, but you get my point.
Isn't it crazy
The
that we were there when she injured herself?
Yeah, it is a little wild. Sonya Deville is, I think she's, I saw something that she's getting ready to come back, but she's hurt. But that wasn't in 2024. Um,
Alexa Bliss was not hurt, but she was out for.
I didn't know Eric was a spinal injury. I thought he had a foot. Why did I think he had a foot injury?
I don't know.
Yeah, Eric has a. He needed a C6 C7 neck fusion surgery.
Yikes.
Yeah, Rhea is hurt. Dom is hurt. Beth, Charlotte, Jimmy, Bobby. Uh, the list goes on and on.
I thought Jimmy was
and
just not there because he got fucking destroyed.
No, apparently he is injured. What the fuck? Yeah. Sidelined with injury, will not be drafted. Let's see. And it's unknown what his injury is, but he is sidelined with an injury as well.
That is crazy.
So, we're again. That was another one of my points. Highest rate of injuries I think we've seen in a long, long time.
Yep.
And I don't get it. Yeah, so we have the Baron Corbin Carmelo Hayes match coming up. There was a video package for DIY showing that they were coming to SmackDown since they were drafted there. Then we get the Baron Corbin Carmelo Hayes match, and obviously Carmelo Hayes wins that. You're not gonna have Baron Corbin beat him.
That was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was. And at the time, he would go on to face the winner of Randy versus Styles. We got another backstage interview with Kayla Braxton and Bayley. Bayley says she wants to see how far Jade Cargill is going to go, and then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven walk up. You know, because Chelsea Green's annoying as fuck. Yeah, so we get another backstage interview shortly after all that bullshit goes on. Byron Saxon is with Randy Orton, talks about their match. Then we get Jade Cargill versus Piper, which obviously Jade Cargill won. Although she took some bumps, and I thought for a second that Piper Niven was going to win. I wasn't sure, but I was watching that. I was like, all right, this is going to be a squash match because Piper Niven is fucking awful.
But we're finally getting Bianca versus Jade.
What? That was... What are you talking about? They're tag team champions.
Yeah, they're both in the Queen of the Ring.
Oh, that's right. They are. Yeah.
And if they both win next round, they face each other.
Yeah.
In the semifinals.
So, Jade Cargill wins, and she now has to face Nia Jax. And then Belair had to face Candice LeRae, who is a bitch. But Bianca wins that. Yeah, so like you said, there could be a point in time where Jade and Bianca do have to run into each other.
Do we think that's going to happen, though? Or do you think it's going to be Nia and Bianca?
I don't know. No, because I can't see them having Nia beat Jade. You think?
Or maybe Bianca loses?
Well, Bianca would have to face... Who would she face? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they run into each other. Then we get a Bloodline segment. Solo sitting with Tama and Tonga, who... That's going to get confusing as fuck. You have Tama Tonga and then Tonga Loa. Like, what the fuck? Um, Paul Heyman then walks in, asks to have Solo on his own for a minute, and that's when we find out that Heyman says he knows his place, and then Solo says, you lied about talking to Roman. Well, I actually did. I'm in charge until Roman comes back. Whatever. So what I say goes. So we're kind of seeing that tribal heir Solo kind of come in officially, and yeah, that was kind of that. So, I do think that Paul is going to turn on this part of the Bloodline faction
and go back to Roman, Jay, and Jimmy.
Just because of how nervous he seems, and Solo actually did call Paul Heyman out for looking at Jay the way he did. Was it last week or was it at Backlash, whatever? When they walked by, it had kind of looked like Paul gave him that look for help, and Solo, I guess, noticed, called him out for it.
Yeah.
But not only that, I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever they're in the ring, they put the ones up. Paul Heyman's always using the opposite arm, so I don't know if that's something. But it feels like no one's talking about it. But yet, when The Rock did the whole L thing at the first time, everyone talked about it, but no one's talking about Paul. I don't know. To me, it's something to me.
I don't know.
Could be nothing. But I do think it is a version of him
I
showing,
think it's nothing.
Could be. It absolutely could be, but we know the Bloodline story. We know how the storytelling is with them, so you have to look for even the slightest things. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you never know. So then we get the Street Profits make their way to the ring because Angelo Dawkins was taking on Tama Tonga in the first round of the King of the Ring. I don't even remember who wins. Oh, Tama. Tama did end up winning. Tama Tonga. My God. This is gonna get annoying. So yeah, Tama ends up winning, and then Solo gets in the ring and they start attacking him. There was some interference during the match, so Montez Ford was already taken out.
Yeah.
But Tama will face the winner of LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, which we now know because it was at a house show rather than having the fastest rising superstar and one of the guys that gets the most pop. You moved him off of TV. Great decision making.
Same with Rey Mysterio versus Kofi. Why would they not have that on television?
Yeah, that was off television as well. But then we get the AJ Styles Randy Orton match. That match just felt mad long for no reason, just because it was the main event.
I didn't even watch it. I went to bed.
I thought about turning it off because I was getting bored as hell. It was a very slow pace, kind of back and forth, just all right, can we get this? This is why I said it felt long for no reason. Can we just get this over with? I think there were one or two commercial breaks in between in the match as well, but Randy Orton did end up winning.
Dude, they need to chill out with commercials.
Yeah, the commercials are kind of insane.
Especially during a main event,
Yeah, you don't need to have... You also don't need to have a 30-plus minute main event on Monday Night Raw.
True.
It's not needed. When it's just the first round King of the Ring match, you did not
but
need
it's
to make
Sheamus
that
versus Gunther.
What?
But it's Sheamus versus Gunther. That's what you're talking about, right?
No.
You said Monday Night Raw.
Sorry, SmackDown. Sorry.
Oh. Because
SmackDown.
Sheamus versus Gunther was fucking long as hell, too.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, I meant SmackDown. I don't know why I said Raw. But yeah, a mad long main event for a show that's already shorter in length anyway. So you
Yeah.
just kind of took up what felt like at least 25% of your show just with one match.
Yep.
But we'll never forget the time that the Bloodline segment ran like 50 fucking minutes
That was
on
insane.
SmackDown. It was crazy. I remember watching that. I like looked down. I'm like, okay, it's 8:35 and we're still on the opening segment. Like, what are we doing? And then they finally left the ring at like 8:47.
My
I was
boy.
like, okay, you just had a 50-minute segment on SmackDown that's only 2 hours long. Good job, guys. But yeah, so quick recap for SmackDown: Nia Jax beats Naomi, Carmelo beats Baron, Jade beats Piper, Bianca defeats Candice, Tama defeats Angelo, and Randy Orton defeats AJ Styles. So all of the matches were King or Queen of the Ring first round matches.
See, when they announced King and Queen of the Ring, I thought the entire pay-per-view was just going to be the tournament.
That would have been horrendous.
It would have been. But
Because that would mean you would have all 3 rounds. So guys, some people fighting 3-4 times in one night. That would have been horrendous.
That's why I was like, oof, when they announced it.
And the show would have been at least 4 or 5 hours, if not longer.
When they announced the King and Queen of the Ring, I was like, yikes.
No, it's just going to be the Saudi PLE.
We're getting...
And you'll get the finals of the Queen of the Ring, the finals of the King of the Ring, the Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship, and then
Liv and Becky.
Liv, Becky, and Cody Logan.
Yep.
Cody Logan, Liv, Becky, King, Queen, Triple Threat. That's at least 5 matches right there. I don't know if there's any others confirmed.
Probably not.
I was gonna say that's 5 matches. I don't know how long they're gonna have the show. But I will not be watching because I will be working like a never mind. So Raw begins, and with every I don't really ever remember seeing them do this with SmackDown, or at least in a long time. But every Raw they show like the guys walking in and they give them like their own little 2-minute segment, not 2-minute, like 30-second little segment of like what their night looks like and all that. And then they go to Drew McIntyre, who's showing up to the building, and they literally had one camera angle on him from walking in, walking through backstage, walking through Gorilla to the ring, all one camera.
Yep.
All one camera angle. There was no like switches or anything. It was just one. And I do kind of like these like one long camera just kind of following these people or these guys. Comes out and he comes out, CM Punk chants begin because, you know, the whole storyline there. And then he kind of goes, so Drew goes on about Punk and actually had said the greatest trick Punk had ever pulled off was looking like a drug addict without taking any drugs. Which that's kind of fucked. But then he was like, you know, actually the greatest trick he's ever pulled is getting you people to trust him repeatedly, no matter how many times he breaks your trust, referring to CM Punk and the multiple times he's walked out or left.
Yeah.
I get, but you know, this is heel McIntyre. Let's see, like, there's just more of that going on, and then he brings up how Jey Uso lost another title match, and that he's mad because Jey Uso took his spot in the King of the Ring tournament.
Yep.
And he said it should have been his title match, because he never got his rematch. He was technically champion.
Yeah.
So, you know, Jey took his title match, took his spot in the King of the Ring, so he's very mad about that. And then he calls Damian Priest a paper champion, which I don't even know what that means. But then Damian Priest comes out. They go back and forth. The Priest
Damian Priest was cooking.
Yeah, Damian Priest actually was really solid on the mic. It said that McIntyre has some serious issues. Why don't you try switching things up, doing something different? And that, now that if you're going to talk crap, you can talk to someone's face, because he had come out, obviously. And then McIntyre says Priest paid his dues, deserves all the success, but he doesn't deserve to be champion. Which, after everything, I'm not going to go through everything that was said, but Damian had offered Drew a title match once he is cleared to compete, so we will be getting that at some point in time. I don't know when, but
I'm assuming Clash.
Probably. Could be. Then we get the Queen of the Ring tournament, Io Sky versus Shayna Baszler. Didn't tell you an ounce about that match. Io Sky did win, obviously. Because Shayna's pretty bad. And you're not going to have Shayna beat Io Sky.
Shayna is pretty fucking bad.
And then we get the Judgment Day Clubhouse segment.
Alright, so is the Judgment Day, heel still? Or are they turning babyface?
No, they're still heels.
Or is Damian Priest turning babyface?
I think Damian's turning babyface, but the Judgment Day is still the heel wannabe bad boys. But yeah, so then we get the Judgment Day Clubhouse segment, and Dom has Carlito with them.
Awesome Truth versus Judgment Day, too. At King and Queen of the Ring.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about that match.
I would have been reminded as we scrolled through the card and talked about it, but yeah. So that's another match. So 6 matches right there. That's probably going to be it. Unless they somehow work in the number 1 contenders for A-Town Down Under, who I can't even tell you the last time we saw them on TV. But yeah, Carlito was in the clubhouse because of Dom. Damian Priest was obviously not a big fan right away. Says that he doesn't belong. But Carlito had said that, the most stubborn minds can be changed, and maybe one day they can all be amigos, and that's when Carlito walks away. They talk about how this year's SummerSlam is going to be in Cleveland for a minute, and then we get the backstage segment with Alpha Academy and Chad Gable, with him kind of just shitting on them all over again.
I cannot stand Chad Gable.
Well, that's kind of what they want. They don't want you to like him. So, yeah, that all happens. Ivy Nile then comes up to Maxine and, it's like, why didn't you tell me that you were going to be in the tournament? And she says how Gable doesn't want them training outside the faction or whatever. And then Gable had come up and said, you should probably stop hanging around Taylor Not So Swift and focus on yourself, which I was like, wow, okay.
I was crying when he said that. That was pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie.
So then we get another backstage interview with Kofi, Kathy, and Xavier. Xavier was on a crutch.
Kathy was looking good last night, sorry. I had to say it.
What's new. And Kofi goes on this long tangent about how he has to defend the honor because Woods can't, and how he went toe-to-toe with Rey Mysterio, and there's no room for fear in the ring, and yada, yada, yada. So last night, Kofi said he will show Gunther exactly why New Day rocks, which they just need to end this New Day bullshit. But anyway.
I mean, I think...
Then we cut back. What?
Never mind. You'll get into that
No,
later.
say what you were gonna say. Let's talk about something.
Well, Karrion Kross told him there's always time to. What did he say? He said something.
That was after. That was after the match, so we would have gone to that. But after their match, when Kofi did it,
that's why I said
lose.
You'll get into it later, but.
All right, yeah. So we'll get into that. So then we cut back into the ring, and Samantha introduces Lillian Garcia, which I thought that was super cool for her to be back. And she introduces the King of the Ring match that was going on.
Yo, I got fucking chills, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty cool hearing her voice again.
I got chills.
I wonder why she was there.
Come back?
Unless that's just where she's from, maybe. I don't know.
Yo, if she should really take Alicia's spot.
Yeah, she's awful. I do not like her voice whatsoever.
Alicia is really fucking garbage.
I'd rather have Mike Rome back. I do not like her voice.
She sounds like a robot.
Yeah, she does sound very flat and plain. Like, Samantha and Mike Rome have done a very good job at really putting the emotion and, like, the work into their voices. Yep. He does not. But anyway, then we have another backstage segment with R-Truth talking to Adam Pearce. Dude, I wish we would have had an episode last week because I wanted to talk about this, but the segment last week when they were in Connecticut, when R-Truth was backstage saying,
"Oh,
you want to fucking fight Yukon or fight the Huskies," bro, that shit had me crying. I was like, what the fuck?
And then he brought the team coach on.
He's like, why can't we fight the Huskies? Like, dude.
Because it's a basketball team?
A basketball team is like, a sport's a sport. It's like, Jesus Christ. But, anyway. It seemed like R-Truth was talking to Pierce about another title match, and Miz walks up. He's like, can you not talk to Pierce about a title match without me? But Pierce then said, the titles aren't on the line, but they need to find a new number one contender so they had the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match. And then Kiana James had walked up saying she looks forward to working under Pierce's tutelage. And then R-Truth was confused if tutelage was even PG. Like, can you even say that on TV? Is that PG? Then we get Kofi Kingston versus Gunther. Pretty good match, but Gunther eventually gets Kofi Kingston to tap, winning his match and moving on.
Gunther!
And let's see. We get another backstage interview. Jackie being backstage with Lyra Valkyria. Talking about her being on the main roster, and then, her beating Dakota and helping Becky last week. And she said how Damage Control better get used to seeing her on Monday nights. And then if anytime that Becky needs backup, she's there. And then that's when Becky walks up and wishes her luck and how they're all friends and all that. And then Liv Morgan walks up, interrupts. Hold on, I'm so confused here. So Lynch had walked up, wished her luck, walked away, and then Liv Morgan walks up to say hello, wish her luck. But then Liv asks if Lynch has always been a bitch. So then Lyra Valkyria is like, oh, why don't you ask her yourself? And Becky's now right back behind her, punches her in the face.
And that was the weakest, most fakest, most dog shit punch I have ever seen.
I just looked and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
That was the most dog shit punch I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But then Lynch is like, oh, I'm not the one scared of a face-to-face fight, you bitch. So, I guess we could say bitch on TV now. I guess we're dropping the PG bullshit.
Thank God.
And then we get that backstage segment between Kofi and Karrion. And so Karrion Kross says that was a tough loss, but there's always time to turn things around.
I think Kofi's turning on Xavier.
I think we could be seeing the end of the New Day, but we'll never know. I'm sure we will at some point.
How long have they been a thing? Like
years.
Fucking 12 years? Maybe longer?
Let's see. The New Day, 10 years. Almost 10. It'll be 10 years this November.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
they need to drop that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like Big E's never going to come back, so like now you're just a tag team. You guys don't even wear the like matching ring gear and all that anymore. Like no one cares about you guys. It's over. The New Day run at the top is over. It's been over. You guys are mid-carders, which sucks because Kofi is just so fucking good.
Yeah.
Kofi's got to get away from the New Day if he ever wants to succeed. Then we get Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa. Bronson Reed obviously wins that. Then we get another backstage segment. Gunther and Ludwig are walking backstage. Kathy cuts them off. Gunther keeps walking. Ludwig ends up addressing her because so she goes on and goes, the recent history of Gunther's matches have been questionable because, the last time that Gunther faced Ilya, he lost. The victory over Jay, was interference from Jimmy. And then the prior week against Sheamus, Kaiser had kind of gotten involved and used some tactics against him. And then Kaiser cuts her off. And oh my God, how the fuck is this dead? I just had this on the charger yesterday.
What?
My laptop. It's about to die. I just took it off the charger last night.
I mean, you have like a fucking 13-year-old laptop, so.
6. But yeah, so he goes on about how Gunther's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Sheamus should be thankful that, I forget exactly what he said, but Sheamus has had a legendary career, but he's never beaten Gunther. Never happened, never will, and that he should be thanking Kaiser for saving him last week. And then, for some reason, another backstage segment with Jackie Redmond being in Adam Pearce's office.
Yo, she looked good too.
They usually always do. New Catch Republic then comes in. I don't understand. Like I'm over them. They kind of suck. I couldn't tell you the last time they've won anything.
No, they're pretty good.
Tells them about the Fatal 4-Way to determine the new number 1 contenders. It'll be them, AOP, the Creed Brothers, and the Judgment Day. And then Jackie had ended up asking Adam Pearce about Braun not being in the King of the Ring tournament. Adam Pearce had said he has unlimited potential, but the guys on the roster have proven themselves. He doesn't want to throw him in the deep end. And then that's when Braun Breaker walks in, gives him the dirtiest look I've ever seen. Says, I wouldn't have been in the deep end with these opponents. I should have been in the damn tournament, and walks away.
Yep.
And then they cut back to the commentary table and Pat McAfee going fucking crazy with the dog barking. And we had Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. Lyra ended up winning that. So Lyra Valkyria will face Io Sky. I guess that could be a good match.
Lyra versus Io?
Yeah.
Is that the semis?
Io. Yes. Because the first round is all the quarters. So what are the quarterfinals?
Alright, so who do you think is going to be in the finals? Lyra or Io?
I don't know.
Probably. I want Io. I think Io goes to the finals and faces Bianca.
Maybe. And then what do you know? We get another backstage segment with Jey Uso. And he goes on to say that Drew couldn't cut it in the King of the Ring tournament, so he took his place and beat Finn Balor. And he goes on to say tonight that he's going to beat Ilya Dragunov, and he's going to beat Gunther next week, and then he will be crowned the new King of the Ring. Jay's been kind of on a high, I guess, as of late.
I think
don't know
he's
if you
winning.
saw, but he also I don't know if you saw this, but he also claimed the Fireflies.
I did not see that.
Called himself the Yeeter of Worlds.
Bruh.
Oh, he has claimed the Fireflies.
Oh, that is cringe. That is so cringe.
Let me see if I can find.
That is so cringe. The
See if I can
Yeeter of Worlds. That is so cringe.
So there was a page that tweeted out, "Are you a fan of the addition of Fireflies to Jey Uso's entrance?" And then on their Twitter, he tweeted, "Y'all ain't got no damn choice. Fireflies are mines now. Hashtag Yeeter of Worlds." So
Damn.
he is the new holder of the Fireflies, I guess. Which is cool, I guess. And especially because I think him and Bray were friends, so.
Yeah.
Then we get Sami Zayn versus Otis. Sami wins. Gable gets pissed, slaps Otis in the face. And then we got Becky Lynch versus... Oh, this is later on in the show. Another backstage segment, because Raw just loves filling their show with backstage segments and pointless matches.
Yep.
We got Braun Strowman talking to the Creed brothers, saying how they have one hell of a career coming up ahead for them. And then, of all people, fucking Funko Pop head JD McDonough fucking walks up. He's like, he says that the Judgment Day don't like Strowman sticking his nose in their business, and consider yourself warned, and then walks away. And then Strowman, obviously not afraid of JD McDonough, just laughs it off. Then we get Dakota Kai versus Becky Lynch. I think I missed most of this because I was out in the living room kitchen area outside a little bit. What happened at the end? Oh, Io and Kairi Sane got involved. And
and
so Becky won by default. So this is where I walked back in, because Jackie was interviewing Ilya Dragunov backstage and asking him, or talking to him, and then Dragunov had said, it's a dream. Some would say it's a dream to be here, but it's not enough to just be here. He's going to make an impact night in and night out. It's going to start with him becoming the star of the ring. And then Gunther had walked up and they just kind of had a stare down. So that, because
everyone on Twitter was nutting.
Yeah, because Gunther and Ilya have their past.
Yeah.
But Ilya technically has the one up because Dragunov beat him.
Yeah.
So. Let's see, and then we get the number one contenders fatal 4-way, which the Judgment Day ended up winning.
With help from Carlito.
Yeah, Carlito ended up hitting, I forget who it was, with a backstabber on the announce table. So
I think it was Pete Dunne.
I think it was one of them. Yeah. So I guess next week it was announced that Sami Zayn will take on Gable in a non-title match, and Lyra will take on Io Sky, and then Gunther. Well, at the time, they said he will face the winner of Jay versus Ilya, which obviously we will get into. So then we get another Judgment Day Clubhouse segment with Carlito and all them, and so Priest kind of stares him down. Carlito goes to leave. Priest stops him and says, "What happened out there was cool." And then Priest said, "You mentioned Ray. Can you handle your business with him? They don't roll with cowards." And, Carlito says, "Yeah, I got it." And then we get Jay versus Ilya, which was a really good match. I was surprised that we only had one commercial break during the match.
I was surprised that the winner of this match
But yeah, they had Jay win, which I guess you kind of could have told, because I don't think you were gonna have Ilya take down Jay.
For Gunther
Because
and
I think,
Ilya?
yeah, but do you really just want to have them as a semifinals match? Like that, like Gunther and Ilya should probably be on a bigger stage, not just a random Monday Night Raw.
Should definitely be a world title match.
I don't know about a world title, but I feel like they could definitely have some sort of, maybe they have like a match at Clash at the Castle or something. I don't know. Yeah, so Jey Uso ends up winning that, and he will go on to face Gunther, who had come out to the ring as the show ended. And then I saw a video. Gunther did attack Jey when the cameras were off.
Yeah.
So in recap, Io Sky beats Shayna Baszler. Gunther beats Kofi via submission. Bronson Reed shits on Akira Tozawa. Lyra beats Zoe. Sammy beats Otis. Becky technically won via disqualification. Finn and JD won the Fatal 4-Way, and Jay beats Ilya. So that is Raw for you.
Dude, I don't know.
About what? What do you mean you don't know?
When the tournament first started, I thought Gunther was winning 100%.
Yeah, I thought that he was going to be the favorite.
But Jay is on fire.
Jay has been on top of his game, and I think right now he's got the hype that, like, it's just...
It has to be Jay, right?
He's got, like, that LA Knight pop to him right now that he's just on top of the world.
He's got to win, right?
Yeah.
He has to win.
I would assume. I would assume.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, never mind. What if Jay is in the finals? Say it's Jay and... I know a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Tama Tonga. Say it is. What if, they're going back and forth, and just when it looks like Tama Tonga is about to win,
Jimmy comes
back.
Ah! Dude.
Jay.
I'm
just saying, it would be a wild... I obviously won't see it, but it will definitely be something that I think would get a huge reaction.
Yeah, you might want to stay off Twitter.
Dude, I try. It's hard because, like, when I'm in there scrolling through social media, it's like the first app that I'm always clicking on.
Same.
So I try to, like, refresh it and, like, just, like, not look, but, like, I'll get, like, a slight glance. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I saw some of the things from Backlash, so I'm like, oh, I know what's going to happen, but, like, I was still pretty, not surprised, but I was like, all right, I'm just kind of watching this as it goes on, but yeah, that's a lead up to
King and Queen of the Ring.
King and Queen of the Ring is a stupid ass name for a PLE.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have come up with something better. But laziness.
Like what?
I don't know. They could have just mentioned like Royal something, or just having, like, I don't know. King and Queen of the Ring just sounds like they just didn't even try, and they said, "Yep, we're using this PLE as the final for our King and Queen of the Ring tournament, and we're just gonna have other random title matches and shit."
Yeah, you're right.
So, I usually am.
No, not really.
But yeah. So next week on SmackDown and Raw will be the semifinals. So expect a lot more of these. I can't really call them filler matches because they're not really trying to fill the show. They're trying to get to the point of having the finals. I'm just kind of hoping that with the semifinals, with who's still left, I'm hoping there's a little bit more storytelling, like beforehand, like before the matches, or like during, or I don't know. When you're just having matches and you're not really doing anything with it, it doesn't do anything for me personally. I really like the storytelling aspect, like the way they did with the Bloodline story over the last 4 years, going into the, WrestleMania, even outside of WrestleMania. Like, we still have the Bloodline,
Barely.
It's not the best bloodline, but I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't think Roman's going to be happy when he comes back, but that's besides the point.
I also don't think he will
Because
be happy.
Tama and Tonga have nothing to do with the bloodline. They're not even Samoan.
Yeah, I don't know why they added them.
They're
It
not
should have been
Samoan.
Jacob and Zilla.
I don't know. I guess that's a way you get Jake. Well, I know a lot of people were confused about, which side those two were going to take, but now you have Tama and Tonga on solos. So I guess that's how we get Jacob and Zilla over with
Roman?
the other side. So I'm thinking it's going to be, so because War Games is 5v5.
Yeah.
You're going to have Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Zilla, Jacob, and then you'll have
The Rock.
Oh, fuck.
Solo.
Rock, Solo, Tama, Tonga. Oh, that's 4.
Rip.
Unless they do a 4v4 and Zilla just doesn't come around. I know Jacob is with the WWE. I don't know if Zilla is.
I'm pretty sure they're both signed, but I'm not
Let's see, I'm gonna look it
100%
up.
sure.
Yeah, apparently Chrome doesn't want to open. That's awesome. Oh, here it is. Is Zilla signed with WWE?
I think he's with Major League Wrestling still.
I was gonna say, yeah, it doesn't look like he's with WWE yet. He wants to go to WWE, but it does right now. It looks like he's not signed with WWE as of right now. So, we could just see a 4v4 and have Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Zilla, or Jacob, Rock, Solo, Tama, Tonga.
That
If
shit's
Zilla
gonna
does come around
slap.
before then, see what side he goes to, and then maybe Zilla goes the other way, and then does Roman bring Sammy back?
Probably.
I've seen a lot of want for that to happen. So, or does Zilla team up with the other side, and does Solo pull another person out of his asshole? Who knows? I don't know.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting. The Bloodline story is obviously still alive and well. Not well, I wouldn't say well, but it's alive there. But just know that Roman return is going to fucking hit like crack, and I hope they don't ruin it. I really hope they don't announce he's coming back. I just kind of hope that there's something going on, and this motherfucker shows up. His music hits, and he just shows up. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Does he come back a babyface? He has to.
Yeah. No. I mean, because you're not gonna have heel versus heel. You're not gonna.
But does he come back with the Tribal Chief music?
I hope so. I really like that music.
Me too.
I really like his current music, but I could see them writing him new music. But I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah, what is it, Def Rebel?
Rebel.
They,
I think
they
their
fucking
contract
blow dick at making music. They suck.
I think their contract is up soon.
They are so fucking ass at making music, it's actually insane.
Yeah. The fact that you've got to have all these intros for superstars because no one knows who there's sometimes music hits and I have no fucking clue who it is.
Yep.
Bailey's music could come on, I still don't know it's fucking her until she comes out. I'm like, oh, it's Bailey's music. It's so fucking generic.
Yep.
It's I don't know her music, but AJ Styles, when his music hits, it's they don't want none. Without that, if he doesn't come out, you probably have no fucking clue whose music that is.
Yeah.
new. It's just this random fucking basic ass like beat. It's like, okay.
AI generated.
Who else's music is really, really bad?
Everyone's.
I'm saying everyone's. I mean, there's still some good music out there.
Yeah, like the classics.
Yeah.
But
But you can
besides
tell with
that,
whatever
like everyone pretty much
whoever,
has
whatever
ass
song
music.
Def Rebel has cut, they're fucking awful. Like, why doesn't Naomi just go back to her old music?
Dude, her old music was so good.
Like, why not just her use her old music? Why can't Carlito use his old? Like, why are we introducing all these new songs that fucking suck? I don't understand it.
I
I
really
don't get it at
hope
all.
they don't get rehired.
I don't know. I'm assuming that WWE and Triple H are aware of how bad they are not liked, and they kind of figure it out.
Alright, so the finals for King of the Ring is going to be Jay versus Tama Tonga.
I mean, that would be the best way to tell the story.
100% in my eyes, that's the finals.
Yeah, I
like
mean, like
98%.
I think that's the best way to kind of tell the story of, or continuing that bloodline story. Because say Jay does lose to Gunther, now what?
Who's Gunther going to face?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, what do you do with Jay? How do you direct this bloodline story next? Whereas, like, you can have this you can have Jay and Tama, and like I said, Jimmy could come back and get involved depending on the severity of his injury.
So you always had
Shit, fucking Roman could come back and get involved. I don't fucking know.
So you always had Jimmy screw Jay.
Yeah, but Jimmy got turned on, so maybe does he come back
Exactly.
after a realization of fuck them?
Yeah. And he finally realigns with his brother. And we get the fucking Usos back, and I go absolutely insane. Ape shit.
We need that Uso Penitentiary music back.
Facts.
Or they're like OG music, but they would have to go back to the fucking. I would totally be down for them to go back to that
if they did that with Roman,
you
think Roman would do that though? I don't think Roman would do that.
No. Not at all. True match. It'd be so weird seeing Roman wearing stuff like that.
That would be insane though.
But like, it's always so weird to like look back when he was like in NXT and he just had the trunks.
Yeah.
Like, that's like you see Roman Reigns just wearing trunks and you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. So, but yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. We've covered SmackDown, we covered Raw, covered kind of talking about the future of the King and the Queen of the Ring tournaments, the PLEs, talked about the Bloodline a little bit, talked about some other stuff about how the new era sucks. If there are comments, I'm gonna get flamed, whatever. Talked about the injuries. But yeah, we talked about a bunch of stuff today. I think we're in a pretty good spot to wrap it up here. So thank you guys so much for watching, tuning into episode number. Fill me in, go.
I don't know.
Oh, great. Been a little bit. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in.
17 maybe.
I don't know. Sounds right. All the support much appreciated.
17.
Make sure you guys,
it is 17.
You guys go follow us on all our socials: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Share this with your other wrestling friends and family and people and associates and whatever.
Coworkers.
Just a small page trying to grow and talk some wrestling, have some fun, and kind of go from there. But all the support that you guys have shown already is very much appreciated. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in and staying, watching this episode. We will see you next week for episode number 18. Coming up on the big 2-0 almost in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir.
See you guys then.
See you guys. Peace.